for a place for the summer.
Yeah.
Because living expenses are so high out here that you can make a lot of money if you find a cheap place to live.
Right. And how long have you been looking?
5 minutes now.
Oh, you really?
I just started looking. Hopefully my girlfriend is ahead of me now.
No, we're usually open by Daffodil, and we're not open this year. We had 3 people doing the work. We usually had 6 or 7 people. We usually get 200-300 applications, and we're down to probably 50 applications. People come in looking for jobs, and I ask them, one of the first questions I ask is, do you have housing? If they say yes, I ask them how much they're paying for housing. At that point, most of the time I can't hire them. I can't charge $10 for a sandwich. And I turn around and I hire, if they say, I had 3 girls come in, they're gonna have to pay $300 a week a piece until August. I can't pay $300, I can't subsidize $300 worth of, of a rental.
About 3 years ago, we would have found more tenants asking to rent a home for a month, the month of July or the month of August. It seems as though in the past few years, the time that tenants are staying in a rental home has decreased to 2 weeks and 1 week. And although there are still monthly rentals, they're fewer and far between. And I'd say because the demand for nice rental homes has increased, because the number of people coming to Nantucket has increased, the supply of nice homes has also increased, partially due to the fact that people know there are good tenants out there to rent to who will pay a dear price, and also because there are just more homes on Nantucket.
It's been a problem for as long as I've had my business, but it hasn't been a really critical issue until recently. The last 2 years probably, especially last year, and now this year, it's really, really critical to the point where people aren't even trying to come anymore because it's so expensive.
Good. Good boy. I live on the boat because I choose to live on the boat as part of my plan to get ahead. I have some definite plans for my money. Those plans do not include giving it to a landlord who's going to charge me exorbitant rent for a small space that may not be quite up to living conditions that I prefer to live in.
Yeah.
I can get that. I can live, quite nicely on the boat, and have everything I need. It's just it's not for everyone. It's a little bit different.
Call to RC's Transportation at 888-8788. Reserves you a place on one of RC's regularly scheduled trips to Green Airport.
Well, hello, kids.
$39.
How are you?
All right, how are you? Good, how are you?
Long time no see.
Okay.
Back here for a second
Second jaunt here,
second jaunt. How is it?
It's okay.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it'll do, I guess. We're glad we're only here for the summer, but it'll do.
Right.
Well, just, $500 may not be that much rent for somebody, but first of all, you think the cost of living out here. Anywhere else I kind of think that you can get, lunch for $5 and dinner for 10, but here, unless you go to the pharmacy every day, everything is so expensive. So if you're making, even if you're making $4,000 and you're paying $1,500 for rent, if you want to go out or do anything, bars out here are so expensive. They don't even, half the bars I went to don't even know if you're on tap. Buy bottles, $6 some of them. It's ridiculous.
Right.
So $500 may not be that much rent, but it really is when you come down to it and you start writing it down on paper. And
Exactly.
you're like, there's no point if I'm going to spend all this money and I'm not going to come away with anything. So $500 doesn't seem that much. It really is, especially when that's about all you have in your savings account right now.
People with lots of money are coming to vacation here, but kids, college kids, just can't afford to be here. There aren't enough places for them to be. And I think the Irish kids that used to be such a great help in the past. Ireland's economy is doing better, that's definitely a factor. But it's also because of things that have happened here, raw deals they've gotten on housing, and the word certainly spread around Ireland. And I know for a fact that the J1 student visa program, they come through an orientation in Boston, all the J1 students. And the people in charge of that program told them not to come to Nantucket last year. Unless you have guaranteed housing and a guaranteed job, don't come to Nantucket. And that killed me. That's a very big part of my staff, either as full-time people or they have other jobs somewhere else and they work here part-time or as a second job. It might be a second full-time job. It's a big part of my labor force is those J1 students. And this year I'm getting a lot of applications, but they're not from Ireland. They're from Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, a few from Pakistan, Spain, France, a few from Italy. I've recently got a lot from the Dominican Republic. But they don't know about Nantucket. They have no clue about how expensive it is to be here.
I think a simple and immediate solution, in my opinion, would be for some of the really needy business owners to purchase properties for their employees. I think that dollar-wise, it probably doesn't make the most sense, or I think more and more business owners would be doing it. But I think in the long run, we're going to have to deal with the situation in some way. I think they'll be able to be pickier about who they hire. And I think that they'll be able to keep their help for, you know, the time that their workers say they'll be here.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're providing them with housing. It's a problem. It's a serious problem.
Right.
Our crew went from 7 to 4 today because we had no housing.
What happened to the housing?
It's gone.
What about their housing? You mean their housing just fell?
Well, no, our housing Memorial Day's here now, and the gig is up, you know, pretty much. We had temporary housing for them.
It was gonna end sooner or later.
It was gonna end, but if they could have found housing, they probably could have stayed around, you know. But you know, where's there's no housing?
Does that set you back as far as getting the job done on time?
Well, yeah, we'll put things back a little bit. You know, I mean, the job's not going to get done as soon as I want it to be.
I purchased one staff house. It's a duplex. And right now I have it filled with the Jamaican help that I use. This year I have 20 of them. And they've been an incredible help. They've learned to do a lot of different jobs. When they first came up, they were strictly kitchen workers, mainly dishwashers, basic cleaning, very basic workers. Now they've learned to do a lot of other jobs. They bake, they work on the line. I have some working on the counter this year. And it's been a real lifesaver because I need that help that will come early and stay late.
You went to real estate places already? You don't want to go there?
Well, we did it for a while, but no.
Yeah, might as well give it a shot.
Yep.
Just I tried to find a place last year, and I actually ended up living out here and living with someone and being like their cook and stuff, and so my room and board was included, which was a great deal. But in the beginning, we were trying to find housing, and they're really reluctant to rent to people our age, and they're still so expensive. Like if you go through a realtor, they don't like renting to people who want like pay $800 a month. You know,
Right.
Some of my friends are actually paying like $3,000 for the summer or $4,000. You know.
Is it worth it?
Just that you can make so much money out here if you can find.
But if you
cheap
got to
places
pay
to
that much money for housing, though, is it worth it?
No, not at all.
But you've noticed probably on the HUD board that there's jobs that are like,
There's tons
$15
of
an hour. We're going away next year to school in Europe and stuff. We need money.
so how long have you been here so far?
I've
To
been here
looking for work?
Well, we've been staying
Or
with a
housing.
friend, just hanging out.
Yeah.
And then I've been looking probably for 3 or 4 days since. Came up Friday.
Right. And nothing?
Not really.
Have you seen anything at all?
few numbers here and there, but usually they're overpriced.
Like what kind of prices? What do you get? What do
The
you?
last one we just called is about $1,000 a month for a single room.
For both of us.
For both of us.
So that's 500 each.
Yeah.
Well, that's
yeah.
You could do that, right?
Yeah.
With working 2 jobs.
But do you want to live in some random person's house? I mean, maybe you don't. You know, we haven't met them yet. Like.
Well, 10 to 15 years ago, when I was in college and we were coming out in the summertime, it was to make money for school. Yeah. And now students have to get their parents to pay for their summer housing, and they don't go home with a penny because it all goes into their housing. So they've had a great summer, but they haven't saved a penny, and that's defeating the purpose of their trip to Nantucket.
Okay, thanks.
Huh? What'd they say?
$1,500 a week.
$1,500 a week?
That's about all they have left.
Oh, they're renting the houses out. Yeah, they're renting to the weekly.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
They were pretty curt, short.
Oh.
That's okay. Yeah. I would be too. I mean, it's their job. Literally. They don't want us to hang.
I've seen this coming for, probably 10 years. I have employee housing. I hire about 80 people between Something Natural and the bagel shop. And I am probably going to house about 40 this year between a couple properties that I've bought and another property that I'm renting. I think that we are demanding services and demanding human resources faster than we're providing the bedding for that or the housing for that. All the houses on Orange Street and the houses on Pine Street and places like that used to have 2 and 3 illegal apartments are now single-family homes which demand more employees. We have each one of those, you lose the 10 people that used to live there, and you have gained another building that needs an average of 2 people, I guess, to run that building. And so we have a net loss of beds, and that is directly reflected in the amount of money that people are paying for help right now. The finest at $15 an hour tells you the supply and demand, tells us the situation, tells us the problem that we're in, and I think it's going to be severe and acute this summer.
On the flip side of that coin, yeah, it is unfortunate that people can't get housing, but on the flip side of that coin, the business will stay here on island more. They have to go with the people they have here. The off-island competition won't be as much. And there's something positive in every negative. There's some positive in every negative, and that's the positive thing about it, that another work will stay here if there's not more housing.
I think the Chamber of Commerce now is really taking a look at what's happening to the growth here. And I think that's great. A lot of people are getting involved in that. What I've done is buy another house. And I wasn't wild about that idea. It was a very expensive proposition, but it's the only way that I'm going to be able to find staff and know that they're going to be here. Like last year, I had people come. I found housing, through various people who I knew were renting. I found housing for them. A lot of them came, saw how expensive it was, saw how difficult it was to be here, and left. So if I can provide housing for them at a much more affordable rate than the open market, then they'll be able to stay.
So you have 2 houses?
I have 2 houses.
Chamber of Commerce is a membership organization. We have nearly 650 members representing the business community, all segments of the business community on Nantucket. And we also try to serve not as an advocacy organization, but as a way to give all of these businesses a voice in issues that are compelling to the community at large. For instance, seasonal housing is a biggie right now, and I am getting reports from many members in the lodging industry, in the restaurant industry, in the retail segment, that staffing is really a problem that they're not getting primarily entry-level workers, kitchen staff, wait staff, largely due to the lack of housing and the overall high cost of living on Nantucket. I think after many years of, say, college students coming here and A, not going home with enough money at the end of the summer to make it worth their while to come here, and or B, not having adequate housing, has told them they don't want to come back to Nantucket anymore, and they tell their friends, and I think the word spreads when you're dealing with, say, New England regional colleges. They travel in packs, is how I think of it. Okay. We're all bracing for our ability, making sure that we have the ability to serve these visitors well.
Right.
And if we don't have the staff to serve them, we're all really going to have to work a lot harder and a lot friendlier and a lot closer together to make sure that this is a positive experience for our visitors.